Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She has an amazing way of connecting with people and using her insight, her intuition over the years, and helping them heal, helping them make these realizations about life and move it forward. And she's cutting edge in many different ways, especially with music, sound therapy, but it doesn't start there. She has a PhD. She's also been very therapeutic in helping people, clairvoyant, spiritual healing, speaking, and so much more. And it's great to have her here. Dr. Janine Ambrose joins us here on the program. Welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
I am good. I'm good. I want to also let everybody in your full list of what you've done. You're our professional of the year. And I know that we've talked about different modalities and things that people go through and how they can overcome some of those challenges, but we never dug deep into you and what got you here and how this all came about, because you wear many hats, if you will. How did it begin for you? Take us back to the beginning.
Well, I was raised on a farm, which was a beautiful life. My brother and I used to go down to the creeks and get tadpoles with sheets. And we worked really hard, though. My mom was Irish. My father was German. That's why I say I'm perfect. Anyway.
My mom was Irish. My dad had some German. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, what better combination? Anyway, and I wrote some things down. So I had a horse and I'd ride the horse back on the hills. But when I would ride my horse, I would jump on and grab the mane and we'd just take off. I never rode with a saddle.
Wow.
I was always a little wild, if you get my point of view.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. And then I started piano when I was about in second grade, took a Sherwood course out of Chicago in concert piano and student taught in high school to give you my musical background. And I also, when in high school, I was in plays and concert band. I played timpani in the orchestra, jazz band, just all kinds of music. I always loved music. And I say these things because I want people to kind of know who I am and where I came from. I was in sports. I was an exchange student to Germany. I was an ambassador for my school, lived there for a while, got in all kinds of trouble, but we won't go into that.
Sure.
I'm sure you have those days too, Steve.
No comment.
I know. So 2 months after I graduated, I moved out. My dad was German and kind of old fashioned, and I wanted to go to college. And he said, you could go to a technical school. And I go, no, I want to go to Colorado. So I wouldn't do that. So I got a job in a factory and moved out 2 months after I graduated. And I started working in a factory, got an apartment. And then I went to barber school and I started a business and I had a couple hairstyling businesses. And then I got married and had 4 children. And then at their schools, I started the Inner Artist after school program because they were in parochial school and they didn't have any art programs. So we brought in artists in residence there and they did watercolor. I taught sculpture, just all kinds of fun stuff. Started another organization at the YWCA for teenagers, brought in rock bands, and also brought in a guy that flew for NASA and talked about extraterrestrials because I was trying to broaden their perspective a little bit at a younger age. My own children were involved in that. And so that takes me to where I had 2 children. Then I had 2 more children. And then I started my TV show that I had for 15 years and got my doctorate in philosophy, went to Canada about 6, 8 times and took college classes. So it kind of gives you a little synopsis of the journey, but the whole journey is about overcoming any boundaries that are put on you. Because the only ones that are put on us are the ones we say we can't do, is what I figured out in life.
And it's so true. And I'm figuring that out. And living in the moment. That has been, and that just I just sent a text to somebody about that who's having a challenging day. And I don't need to go into the details, but it just embrace the now. You know, her life was different a few years ago. And
Mhm.
there's an event that's happening today with her children, and it's different. And I said, embrace what you have right here. You can't control this over here, but you can control this moment right here and savor it. It's so wonderful.
Well, and your children, that's the greatest challenge, I think, are people you love because you want to help them and you want to fix them. Because I have a daughter, my youngest daughter got into meth, and I've had to go through that whole scenario. And it was so cool. I went to this meeting at the Unity Church, and they were talking about death. And this one woman was talking about her son dying from drugs. And she said that she was reading in this book that who are you as a parent to judge your child and not allow them to live the life they want to live? That's
Say
that
that
was
again. I think
that was
that
pretty profound for me.
that I believe that bears repeating.
Okay. So who are we as parents to judge our children and to be upset with them and we get angry and we want to help them, we want to guide them when they're living the life they came here to live, and who's to know where that's going to go? Maybe if they get off the drugs they'll become famous in helping other people get off drugs. So there's a process and a contract for each one of us that come in here, and family is the toughest one because of letting go
Mm,
and just loving.
yeah, it's an interesting point. We want we want to help as much as we can, but and this applies to even teenagers. Somebody said this to me a few years ago that they have free will too. They're making decisions. You can't make the decisions for them. You can do some guidance along the way, but ultimately, there's more you can do. And we take it upon
Mhm.
ourselves that we didn't do the right thing or we didn't raise them the right way. Maybe that's right in some regards, but by and large, they make decisions.
It's all choices.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, it's an interesting and family paradigms, siblings. Those have been my greatest challenges on letting go and letting love, you know, because we all think differently and we all have different paths. A lot of times our friends are better than our family. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, I gotcha. A lot of times you feel like a failure with your kids, uh, and you take it to heart. But again, sometimes you just have to say, I've done it," and you know inside when you've done everything you can do. There's really no more you can do, regardless of the age of your kids, assuming they're past children age. There's not too much more that you can do. And also, when a relative even reaches out to you, excuse me, and says that they're going through something and it's an ongoing situation, and you make the suggestion again that you need to change your life. You know what's wrong. You need to take the steps. Is it easy? No. Does it take courage? Yes. But then you need to find the way to get that courage, to work on that, to work on yourself. And there's many different ways of doing it, but many of us just play the victim and wallow in all of it. And but on the flip side, if you're a sibling or it's a family member, you can't do any more for them. It's just none of this. Sometimes you just got to say, that's it. I did all I can do.
And just I try to be there as much as I can.
Sure.
But by letting them go, you're letting them realize the choices they make, the consequences that they create. Because if we keep bailing them out and being codependent, they aren't living and learning either. So yeah,
Exactly.
it's an interesting challenge.
It really is. It really is. But it takes the realization that you can't help everybody.
Mhm.
It's sometimes you have to say, I got to take care of myself sometimes, which many of us don't do, especially as parents. And then we suffer. our health suffers, then chronic illness sets in once you figure out what's going on. But sometimes it's too late, unfortunately.
Well, most illness that I found and Patch Adams talks about is from emotion,
Yep.
emotional trauma. I mean, I
Yep.
took a research team with Alzheimer's patients, and it was really interesting because, to be honest, I would never swear around my children when they were young. Not that I swear a lot,
Same.
but the point that I found was a lot of these religious, very religious women that were in the Alzheimer's unit had the foulest mouths I've ever heard in my life. And it's because they spent their whole life repressing their emotion. And when they went into
Mm.
Alzheimer's, they couldn't control it anymore. So before they could transition and move into the other side, they had to release all this buildup. So now
Mm.
I swear once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, let it out. You gotta. I, I'll go back to what I was saying at the beginning when we started talking. Not about me. I'm sharing an example. Made a quick phone call to somebody about an hour ago, just saying hi. Very close to them, and they started crying on the phone about the situation that's going on today, and they apologized. I'm like, don't apologize. And then a minute later, they said, I feel better now. I feel just because I just cried a little. You have to purge it. It's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, water's cleansing, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What did it look like in your life? Because you have more intuition, clairvoyant, if you will. When you shared thoughts, visions, whatever that may be, with others, and did you were you judged in some
Oh,
ways?
definitely. I mean, I was kind of, you know, my intention was always to help people. But when my kids were younger, because I had people come to my house and I counseled them, they called me a witch and they wouldn't let their kids play with my kids, and it really affected my kids. And that's when I went and got my doctorate in my field because I wanted not, I didn't want people to look at me that way because I'm an intelligent person and I've had a normal life. It's just that we all have these abilities, and for some reason I came in with a little extra, and sometimes I actually went, "Why do I have to do this?" You know?
I know. And I'm going to be the first to say here in my journey, I'm learning that I have intuition. I know it sounds crazy. I've been around psychics my half my life, and I'm starting to tune into it more to the fact where I could be, and this is a real situation, around somebody who I know, I think they mean well, but the energy is not good. And I can feel it take over in a bad way. Like, just need to push that away. That negative energy, it needs to go away. And that's my quest. That's my 2024 quest. Negative energy, sending you away. People that bring it, go away. And I went to an event. It was a networking event, and met somebody, started talking, and his energy was so amazing. I didn't want to walk away. We were having a great conversation about life, manifestation, and all of that. I felt like I took a happy pill. I don't know what it was. It was just
His vibration. Yeah.
off the scale, off the scale. I even told him it. I've said, you know what? It's rare for me to find this, and you got it. He goes, yeah, I picked up on you. Same kind of thing. And maybe we're talking about maybe working together in some regards. Just very in the early stages. Of just met him, and just his vibe. And he went from being a classical musician, number one in his game, to changed his career to the IT world, very successful now in that. And just because he manifested, he was positive. He just things just showed up. It was great. And then while we're talking, a woman walks over that he knows. I just met her at that moment. She just said, "Hey, I drove up with my brand new car. Take a look at it." Shows a phone, and just I couldn't afford it 6 months ago. I got to pay cash. So happy. Like, congratulations. Like, same kind of energy. It's almost like we flock together at that moment. But when you know it, you feel it. And now I'm more tuned into it. like I'm sure you've been for decades. And the negative, when it's there, it's just like, this doesn't feel good. This needs to keep that away.
You know, when you were saying that, how you took breaths and you went, you can blow it away. You can blow it out of the room. You can blow it off of them. Our breaths are very powerful. I've done it. Try that next time.
Hmm.
And also do that thing where, remember I told you? Cut the energy,
Got the
turn your
energy.
body. That works too.
So let's
Throws
say
them off.
you've been exposed to somebody and they're not, bad people, but the energy is just not what you want it to be. And you um, just simply doing the, they're not here in the room. That's what I'm talking about. But if you feel that their energy is even within inside you, can you just purge that out? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're breathing. Your breathing's everything. It re-expands your energy field. And I've noticed all my life I go like this with my hair, but what I'm actually doing is cleaning my energy, and I didn't even realize it. Because I had a psychic one time friend of mine show me that when you pick up energies, you usually feel a pressure right here on your head. And all you do is go like this and pull it off. It's nothing is complicated, really.
Hmm.
It's pretty simplistic, but the breath is powerful.
Hmm. I will tell you, after being in the presence of this person, again, not a bad person, but just not what I align with, and just I saged. I've well, here it is. It's it's organic sage spray instead of lighting something. It's the real deal. I know the master herbalist that prepared it, and I just sage the area where I was and where they were around, and even myself, and just a cleansing was needed. I don't want to be negative, but it just that was the first time in a very long time that I felt that just this is not supportive.
Well, and the best thing about that is you were listening to yourself.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's where most people, when I was younger, I was so sensitive. I didn't like conflict. And so I would more or less cower or leave when there was conflict but then as I grew up or progressed in who I was and knew who I was, I took, I guess the word I want to use is authority over it.
Mm,
I know my power. So once we know our power, we can remove that and help them rather than,
sure.
be angry at them or frustrated.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's the awareness once and being okay with it. I'm okay to say I pick up on energy. Don't like it. I'm sorry. But that's the way. Am I crazy? Am I kooky? You think so? That's your problem. Not my problem.
Well, it's not mine, it's
Right.
yours.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's the other person that's they're
That's
reacting.
those are very powerful words. If people can look at people that are sending energy, because a lot of us, and many people can feel that when you're hearing their thoughts, even though you're not really hearing their thoughts, you're feeling them.
Mm.
Then you go, that's yours, not mine. Then you separated yourself from it and you don't take it on.
I want to go back to something you said a moment ago about energy and how you do this with your hair. If you
Mhm.
watch a dog and the dog comes in from the outside to the inside, or sometimes vice versa, and you see them shake, I always thought that maybe they weren't comfortable with their fur and they just wanted it in a certain place. But I've talked to many animal communicators and behaviorists, and what the dog is doing is shaking off the energy from one spot to the other. So, like when they come in from the outside to the inside, they're shaking off that energy that was there and getting ready to pick up on the energy coming into the house. And it's the same thing when somebody says, "Yeah, my dog or cat, they know what I'm thinking. They know what I'm saying. They're picking up on your energy." How do they do it? We can do the same exact thing. The only difference is all you have to worry about is eating, drinking, pooping, and sleeping. They don't have to worry about mortgages and car payments and people, all of that, social media, technology, all of that. They're not worried about that. And they're grounded 24/7 because they don't have shoes on. They're touching the ground all the time. So they're
Right.
highly tuned to everything that's going on. But the shake, I think you're doing the same thing a dog would do. Same kind of principle.
Yeah, you know what? You probably do it too.
I know I do it.
I would bet.
I do it.
I've been feeding these birds out here. I swear I must be feeding 1,000 birds and then I have 2 ground squirrels out here. So I put some on the ground and then I put some up here for the birds. And I mean, I put a pile every day and every day it's gone. So if I forget to go out and check and feed the birds and I go out on my patio, they will come into the tree next to my patio and just start singing all just loud songs to get my attention. I go, oh, okay, you guys need food. So the more aware we are, we can actually kind of see what's going on.
That's the key point. The awareness, everybody say, well, the stuff that, Janine and Steve are talking about is woo woo. Try it. Be aware. Try to get in your head and think and feel, and you'll start seeing these things. Even I think, talked before about seeing signs from somebody that's passed away. If you ask and you're watching, you're going to see them. That's my belief. Some people, I saw a butterfly and that reminded me of my dad. If you believe that, that's fine. Personally, I want more. I ask for specifics and I get them.
Well, the more you love yourself, the more you radiate love. Okay. So I'd love to hear this band play because they have Rock and Roll Hall of Famers on Friday night here in Des Moines.
Love it.
So yeah, so I go down there because I want to hear, and they always play me Stairway to Heaven. It's really cool. But I was down there and I was just in my happy mood. And one woman came up and started talking to me and started hugging me. Then this other woman came up and started talking to me and hugging me. It's like they felt the energy. So I started hugging all these people that I didn't know just because they needed a hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
We're on the same page with the music. Can I share lyrics with you?
Sure.
And this song is stuck on me. It's by Neil Young, released an album about 5 months ago, 6 months ago. It's actually an outtake from an old album. Nobody even knows this song. Wasn't a hit. Don't judge me. But when I played this over and over, and it's him with an organ, like a big church organ. I've seen a YouTube video, and a harmonica. That's it. And the lyrics. Part of it is when you walk in a room, you hold your head up high. You talk to people eye to eye. There's nothing to hide. You're feeling so complete inside. Your heart feels so complete inside because you got love. Now, what does that mean? The love could be your own love for yourself. You finally nailed it where I got it now. I feel good. Or it could be the love of others. And even this is this is strong for me. You're staring in the face of scorn. You know your spirit can't be torn. You're living like a satellite. Maintain your distance through the night. You know that something isn't right. Your heart tells you it's just not right because you got love. So to me, that says, well, we're talking about the energy, like something's not right over here. But to your point, you don't pick up on those things unless you got love. What is love? You could insert the word love for God if you want, if that supports you.
It's just being happy. I want to quote one of my poems I wrote when I was in Ireland.
Sure.
We were doing a tour in Ireland and so they wanted us to do limericks. Well, I ended up writing a poem, but it's called A Mere Lamb. If I were but a mere lamb resting upon the hills of Ireland, inhaling mist while being cuddled by clouds, eyes encompassing no forbidden ends of earth nor life, leaping stone hedges without a thought, resting to the melodies of the choir in flight. Oh, if I were but a mere lamb.
Does make you think.
Yeah, I mean, just simplicity. If we just get back to simplicity, we're going to have complications. It's all on how you look at it and how you deal with it.
In my journey, which changed 3 and something years ago, I write on this one, nothing surprises me. I used to be, oh my God, look what just happened. The littlest things. That nothing surprises me. It's all right. You got to roll with it. That's it. Roll with it.
Flow.
Yeah, go with the flow. which is
There
what
you
we
go.
said when we started today.
Yeah.
I know you have a great website, and we didn't even we got a little bit of the poetry, but not, we didn't get deeper into the music aspect of you and more. How do we find you? If somebody wants to learn more about what you do, see some of your work, learn more about you, how do they do that?
They can go to my website. It's www.docja.pro. And I have my artwork. I don't have my TV shows up yet. I have probably 100 TV shows that I've done with people from all over the world.
Wow.
I just haven't gotten digitalized yet and put on my website because I have other things I'm doing right now, but that'll be on there too. My poetry. I do have my world peace song on there. So
I'll check that out.
Yeah, I wanted to give that to you because it'd be cool to play that when we start. But
I was just going to say that.
yeah, but I got to have your email address or something to send it to you.
Is it on your website?
Yes.
Oh, then I'll just
I'm
find
pretty
it there.
sure it's on there. Yeah.
I will search it out, and I would love to see the TV shows, even if you can get a few up there.
Yeah, I need to work on that.
Yeah. No, we're a work in progress.
That's right.
Janine, thank you so much for today. And side note, that's the third time in a week that Ireland has been referenced, and it's almost as if I'm being told to go there. Never been? Bucket list?
Oh, that's my favorite country. I've been to 12. That is my favorite country.
I'll laser this in 15 seconds. I learned to have a half sister, met her for the first time last weekend. I learned the reason I found out is because she went on Ancestry.com to learn about her Irish heritage because her son was playing soccer in Ireland. And obviously, we share the same dad. So, and my dad passed when I was way younger. I didn't even think he knew he had
Isn't
my
that
half-sister.
awesome?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And guess where she is now? Ireland. She went there with her
There
son.
you go.
Yeah. So there's a reason. There's a reason for everything. Thank you. And we'll talk soon. Okay.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.